Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be talking about Far Cry 5. This was not a game I was expecting to play so quickly after Far Cry 4. However, my brother wanted to play it co-op, had some interest in it, and so I've been playing through this game co-op. I'm done like basically 2 of the 3 areas, like very close to finishing the second area. So I've got a ton of time played in this game, and this game feels like quite the jump in terms of quality over Far Cry 4. Now, I liked Far Cry 4, I like the villain, I like the story, I like the characters, but it's kind of crazy playing Far Cry 5 and seeing those increasing animation speeds, the smoothness, like obviously better tech, things like that. Now, this game could have come out in a buggy state, I don't know, I honestly don't remember, but playing it now, I'm genuinely like impressed at how well the game runs. It's been an absolute blast in co-op. I think that's the big thing that made this game so enjoyable as it is because we've been playing it in co-op, because a lot of silly stuff has happened since we've been playing it, like driving cars into the water or getting killed and mowed down by helicopters, just really dumb things, and I think that's really added to this type of game. Now, I'm not really the biggest Far Cry fan. I liked half of 3, I kind of liked most of 4, but I didn't do most of the activities. And the same with this game, I don't feel compelled necessarily to do every single activity, but the parts of the game I really enjoy, like liberating the outposts and doing the story quests and meeting all the crazy characters. That side of it I'm just enjoying, roaming around, because this game's set in Montana. Roaming around America, essentially, dealing with these cultists. It's a really interesting vibe to the whole game. I didn't think that doing another because obviously Far Cry 4 is like tropical. Then you have an alpine sort of Himalaya type place, and then you've got another one that's again more like alpine-y, lots of trees and stuff. But the difference is actually pretty cool. And I really enjoy like the different locations you go to, the places you can jump off. Like, it feels different enough from Far Cry 4 where it doesn't feel too samey. I think after this, if I was to play Far Cry 6, I'm pretty sure that game's set in like a city or on an island or something. It needs to feel a bit different. But overall, like the actual setting it's just a lot of fun to drive around in these sort of settings. There's a lot of fun to fly around, parachute out of planes, all that good stuff, and I think it works really well. Like I said, the game feels like a huge jump in quality over the last one. It just feels smoother to play, reaction time on the controls, the gunplay feels really good, the guns themselves, there's a good mixture of those. I had a version of this that had like a lot of random things unlocked, so I had access to some crazy powerful guns. There's lots of Blood Dragon references to this, which is good. Faster animations of climbing and things like that, like not getting stuck on things, grappling. It just feels like what a sequel should be, which is just an improvement over the last game. And I really gotta say, like, this game has done that in spades. One thing that they took out of this game was radio towers, and I think Ubisoft were right to do so. I do kind of like the radio tower thing myself, but I like the fact that this game feels different enough. Now, I know that in a lot of their Ubisoft games, they haven't taken out all the tower stuff, but the fact that this game doesn't have them is awesome. Outpost liberation is a lot of fun because you want to try and do it stealthily. Running around with 2 people, like, sniping people on their heads and things is a lot of fun. And I will say, like, maybe a lot of this comes through the enjoyment that I've had with the co-op, because the co-op has enhanced my experience. And they always say, like, any game can be more fun with friends, and that is kind of true. But I've still enjoyed what I've been doing. We've picked our quests, we've done the quests. It's just like having in the game, you can have followers. You don't need them when there's 2 of you. What's really cool is coordinating on like outposts, coordinating on quests, and taking different approaches. Like, one person can take all the heat if they want, and the other person can just snipe, never get seen by the enemy, and just deal in that way. Or we can go in and get takedowns. Everything like that, like the things that it leads to, is much more interesting gameplay than playing it solo, because you can, we've been on Discord talking and playing, and I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. Or there's a helicopter coming, can you deal with that while I deal with these people, whatever it might be. But I am a big fan of liberating outposts and doing it stealthily, so that's quite fun when 2 of us are like, right, let's try and do this, hide in the bushes, pop some people off, It just enhances the game so much, to the point where you're just having a laugh. Like I said, we were trying to do a mission where you have to run over roadkill in a car. I kept chunking the car into water and basically drowning us. I must have been like 8 to 10 cars of that. It got quite silly. But like, there's a good mixture of those missions, and they all feel kind of fun with, you know, playing with other people. And I for one very much appreciate it. I just like the fact that the experience as a whole is very Far Cry, but they've done all the right changes in it. So, for example, you can skin animals and things like that, but you sell animals for money. You're not upgrading your ammo pouch. You're not upgrading your bow and all this different stuff through it. You just have perk points that you get from doing challenges that are all in the like in the menu for it, and you can just get your perks by just being like, I want this, this, and this, and they all cost varying values. But it's a lot easier to just focus what you want. Like, a lot of the things that were in previous games have just been improved on in ways that I really appreciate. One thing about this game as well is the story. The story is very different. The way that it's told and things like that. So I kind of want to. This is like, there's a pro and a con to this. The pro is the story is actually interesting, and they're trying to create villains that have something to say, are trying to make a point about like what's going on in the world. But that leads on to the con of this. Like, while the cutscenes of the story, while the characters you meet are interesting, the storytelling in this game is incredibly jarring, and I understand why they've done it. Because you can go to any area of this game. So when you interact in those areas, different things happen. But what makes it annoying is that you could be in the middle of doing something and boom, cutscene kicks in, and now you've got to do something that you might not have wanted to do. And this all happens every time you trigger. You get little dots to show your progress in an area. Every time you get past one of those, basically, the villain pops up, and then you end up going and getting knocked out or captured or whatever it might be. And I don't hate what they're trying to do, but it isn't necessarily the best way of trying to, I don't know, if you're in the middle of a mission, or you're in the middle of driving to a mission, or you're going to do something and it just picks you up and chucks you into it, I do wish there was it was almost done at certain points, like to do it at story points at certain missions, rather than just randomly when I'm out saving hostages or randomly out doing outposts. Because it's just like you're taking away from me from the activities I want to do. I am the kind of person that likes to essentially go and do a bunch of side quests, get a bunch of points to upgrade the character, get access to lots of guns, and then suddenly you're taking me out and chucking me into a story mission that I don't really have much control over. And admittedly, like, the two ones we've done so far are very different, but I still don't like that. It's intruding on my gameplay. Let me enjoy what I'm doing. I'll come back to the story. I know that they want to try and fit in a bunch of these things throughout the game, and that's fine, but it's also like, it just doesn't, it's a weird thing between what I want to do as the player and what the game wants me to do, and how it wants to advance the story and things like that, and I just, yeah, not the big fan of that. The only other real issue I've had with this game is that with other Far Cry games like this one, is that you just die really quickly sometimes. You just get hit by a thing. And I get it, you're not a superhero, I think you're a human being. But so you just die really fast if you don't have body armor, and even when you got body armor, you still die really fast. And I guess that's just part of this series. Like, you have to accept that if you do decide to kind of run and gun, that, you know, when you're reloading, if you're trying to get up in the grill of somebody, they will blast you. So you need to have, you have a very easy method of tracking where enemies are and stuff, which is good. But you do get, you take on an outpost and suddenly a couple of people turn up you don't expect, then they blast you like 2 or 3 times. You've lost pretty much all your health at that point. And then the only other thing is the wingsuit and the parachute. So if you, for example, do a jump, and it's quite a big jump, if you hold the jump button down, you'll see the bar open the parachute. Kind of annoying. Probably not the best to have them on the same thing, but I get why they did it. And the same with the wingsuit. Sometimes I've not had too much trouble with it, but I see what the issue is. When you jump off of a cliff, if you don't hold shift down until he does the animation of his arms coming out, and you just push it, or you don't hold it fully, you just fall to your death. It's not the best way for the wingsuit to activate. I almost think it should just activate automatically. You do a certain jump that's X distance away, and it registers that and just goes, boom, there's the wingsuit, let's open it up. Or, I guess if you might not want that, you can have the parachute. But essentially, have one or two of them, one or the other, kick in to save yourself from falling to your doom. But it is finicky, and it seems unnecessarily finicky. On a keyboard especially, there's a lot of buttons. with the parachute specifically, having it on the same button as jump might not be the best thing. Maybe I should just change it myself. But it's just a bit finicky when it comes to opening the wingsuit parachute. It's the same when you're trying to like loot a body and you end up picking up the gun and changing guns and stuff. It's just those little things with these games where like if you don't have it like perfect, sometimes you just end up messing up what you're trying to do. But to be honest, there isn't a lot that I don't like about this game, and I'm sure that this game got a lot of criticism. You know, I've not even touched the DLC for it or anything like that. I've just been playing through the main story. But because I've been doing it co-op, I think that's why I've enjoyed it as much as I have. I think that this game, right now, having not played Far Cry 6, having played Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon and 4, where they all feel very similar engine to this one, this feels like quite the upgrade. And the actual story, the setting, the characters you meet, some of the side characters in this game are hilarious. Like, genuinely, like, you know, you harm America, kind of like proper American, like, middle of nowhere kind of characters. They are funny. There's some dumb stuff that happens, as you'd expect, because it's Far Cry. There's a lot of dumb stuff that happens. And the game's trying to tell, like, a serious story. Again, I'm not necessarily a fan of how they try to tell it, but the actual cutscenes, the actual characters you meet are interesting. And combining that with the co-op, like, I think I'd still enjoy this game single player, because you can have the people follow you, right? So you can get up to 2 followers or stuff, so you kind of roam around in a group, which I think is awesome. But you don't need to do that when you can play it co-op, because you can just have an absolute blast taking out and doing dumb stuff. I didn't even realize you could grapple the bottom of a helicopter in this game. So like someone takes off and you like come back and you can grapple it, you can swing while they're flying. It's very dumb fun in a lot of ways, and I think that's what I really appreciate about it. I hopefully will get a chance to play the other Far Cry games like New Dawn and Far Cry 6 in the future, and I hope that the co-op is just as silly in those and that we have a blast playing those. Because this honestly has been such a fun experience. I'd not jumped into a first-person shooter in a while and just kind of clicked with it and just had such a good time. Like, I've not run into any issues other than the usual jank that you get from a Far Cry game. But other than that, the game's been fine. I think it's kicked my brother once since we've like played it. But yeah, I honestly I recommend this. Like, if you really want a fun shooter game to play, grab a friend and play it. Honestly, you'll have an absolute blast with it. And like, you know, this game doesn't feel as long as the other Far Cry games. Like, this map feels big, but not as necessarily as big as Far Cry 4. And I'm all here for it. I'm like, all the content feels genuinely like nicely paced out. We're having a laugh. The map's big. Don't get me wrong, the map is big, but it doesn't feel as big. And you know, we're soon to be done with one area, and then we're soon to be moving on to the next area. And I reckon, you know, we're done within 30 to 40 hours of the game, like, in terms of the stuff that I want to do, because I have no interest in doing everything, but doing, like, most of the story quests, doing most of the side quests and the outposts. I'm, like, having a blast with it. You can fish in this game, for Christ's sake. So, you know, it's a fun world to run around in. I'm enjoying my time with it, and I'm honestly looking forward to playing more of it, finishing off the game, and then checking out some of the other games that came after this to see if they are just as fun. You know, I loved, there are bits about Far Cry 3 that I love, but this one probably is the best playing one, and also has the best atmosphere and vibe and all that sort of stuff. I loved Pagan Min as a villain in Far Cry 4, but he is an interesting villain. These guys are even, like, for the most part, the main guy is actually kind of interesting as well. So yeah, I'm genuinely just having a blast, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it, and then seeing, you know, maybe I won't play this game straight away, we shall see, but like seeing what comes later, how have they improved on it, are they, you know, did they keep the same team, because they honestly did a fantastic job on this. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Far Cry 5. If you are interested in playing this game, I definitely recommend it. Grab it on sale, because it goes on sale fairly regularly, if you don't want to pay like the full price, which it might still be like £40 or something. If you see this anything for like 30 quid or less, I do recommend it, and I think it is a lot of fun. And I should point out, I've been playing this on PC. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for me today then, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, as always. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe. And until next video, I will see you then.